نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرسله معنا غدا يرتع ويلعب وإنا له لحافظون. The ayat before this, Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam's brothers, they were jealous about Yusuf alayhi salam, and they said that why is Yusuf alayhi salam and his brother more beloved to us than our father, so let us try and kill him. Then they made mashwara amongst themselves, and one of them said, they don't kill Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, but let us throw him down some well, some travelers will take him away, and then thereafter we can change our life, we can become pious people, we can become good people. So anyhow, they made a plan now, they went to their father, and they told their father that, oh father, why don't you trust us over Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, we are well wishes of him. And as we had discussed, that many times the evil person comes in a form and the guise of a well wisher, and the way to see that inni ana lakum nasihun amin. The Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam came, they were not only well wishers, but they also said that we are amin, they were trustworthy people you could see they had deen in their lives, and you can see that they are people who are trustworthy, who will take a person towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they anyhow Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam, they told him now, arsilhu ma'ana, send him with us tomorrow, then we will go eat and drink nicely, enjoy ourselves a little bit, have a bit of tafrih, comfort and enjoyment, wa yal'ab, and we will play, wa inna lahu lahafidhun, and verily we will be looking after Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. We won't make it such that we'll protect him properly. So from here the ulama have taken out some masalas, that for example, they are telling the father that we will go out and we will play, we will eat and drink. So this is part of the human nature. A person wants a bit of tafrih, a person wants a bit of ease, comfort, a bit of change of environment, and this Shariah has allowed it so much so that Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam also, is a narration that may mention when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam went out with his wives, they went to a certain place, maybe there was like a waterfall, whatever, and he went with his family there. Once Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, what is Aisha radiallahu anha, they were returning from a certain battle, and then all the other Sahaba radiallahu anha had gone ahead, so it was Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Aisha radiallahu anha alone, and he said, let's have a race. So they had a race, and the full laws of Parda were observed, and then at that time, as Aisha radiallahu anha was young still, she beat Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then she says, I picked up a bit of weight, and then later on, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, again we were going, and we were all alone, and then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, let's have another race, and then we raced, and then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam beat me, and then he said, now we were even now, I beat you one, you beat me one. So from here we can take out, the ulama have taken out many Masaail of like playing. In certain narrations also, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said that all kinds of playing is futility, except, and then Nabi alayhi salam explained, for example, swimming, archery, because these are very good for the body, very healthy for the body. And al-mu'minu al-qawiyyu khayrun wa habbu ila Allah min al-mu'minin al-da'if, that a strong believer is far better and superior than a weak believer, even though in every one of them there is goodness, they all got iman within them, but for a believer to have strength in his body is extremely good. So ulama have mentioned, so there is permissibility Shariah has given. Sometimes a person thinks that he just plays in that sport whatever he wants to, without any the laws of Shariah being used. So some people feel is that we shouldn't do it at all, and some people feel that everything is jaiz and permissible. So both are incorrect, but there are certain hudud and limits. So the ulama say that there are limits for playing whatever. The first one is our satar should not be open, the part of our bodies which are supposed to be covered for a man from his navel till below his knees, they should not be open at all. So example, a person is playing any game, whether even is swimming also, swimming is a sunnat sport, but now a person's satar is left open, so this is incorrect completely. A person should completely abstain from this here. And some people we see in the morning, they take a walk or they sit on a bicycle and going, but now they are just with the changing of intention. You have a good intention, I'm doing it for the health of my body, and a person just follows the commands of Shariah. So instead of wearing a shorts, just wear something longer, covering at least the knees, and it mustn't be so tight fitting on the body that the person can actually see the lumps. Sometimes person covers the knees also, but he's wearing these tights, so the shape of the body can be seen. So if you want to wear that under and then wear something over it, so that the shape of the body is not seen. So now a person, the same action he's doing, but he's getting rewarded for it, just by the change of intention and by following the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is one thing, that the satar should not be left open. Secondly, there shouldn't be males and females joined together. For example, there is swimming taking place, then as I said, the satar also for a woman's satar is a whole body, everything has to be covered for a woman, besides her face, her hands and her legs and her feet. This is the satar of the woman, and if she's going out in front of other men, then obviously it is a necessity for her to leave her house, then her face has to be covered also. It's best also her hands and her feet be covered. But if she, for example, she's also doing some kind of exercise or whatever like that, then she shouldn't be even in front of other women folk. If they are only Muslim women folk, then the satar is a bit less. Then some portions of the body, the hair, etc., can be open, the arms can be open, then beneath the knees can be open also. But if it is other non-Muslim woman, then this is the satar of a woman. Her whole body, besides the face, her hands and her feet, has to be covered. So a woman also has to be careful about this. Then secondly, there shouldn't be males and females joined together. Then the males also are watching and the females are watching. Unfortunately, nowadays we have many of these sport events, even amongst our Muslim people, where, for example, young boys are playing, they're having a soccer tournament, whatever, but then they're allowing girls to come there and they're cheering the boys on. So this is completely impermissible. It's not correct at all. So there must not be mixing of the sexes. The third thing is there mustn't be any music taking place there. Then this also will not be permissible, and there mustn't be any like dancing. Number 4, for example, you have sometimes these cheerleaders and the women are jumping, and all of this is also not permissible. And if the play is only in imitation of the kuffar and disbelievers, then also man tashabbaha biqawmin fahuwa minhum, especially if it's a special sport of a certain religious group, then this also will not be permissible. So these are basic principles which Shariah is kept also. Then ulama say, if in the play, in the game, if there is no benefit of deen, also no benefit of dunya, then this is called futility. And many of these computer games, for example, they are completely useless. There's no benefit at all. And the worst thing in these computer games, etc., is that one is if a person is using it for his mind, but then many of these laws, example, is pictures sometimes of people. So this won't be permissible. If a person is using it for just to strengthen the mind, or for relaxation of the mind, and he's not missing any salat, whatever. Example, a car game. If this a person is driving a car, is getting some skills or whatever, then this will be permissible. Nowadays they actually use these games for people training also, pilots, etc. That will be permissible. But where there's pictures of people, and nowadays in many of the games, they've got a lot of kufriyat and shirkiyat. Example, they've got a computer game and a person is kicking one book. When you focus on that book, you find it's a Quran Sharif. So a person is actually killing the Quran Sharif, or there's one sound in the back and it's something of it's like shouting, but actually if you listen to it properly, it's the adhan. So in many of these games, they've got a lot of kufr and shirkiyat. You have to go, you make sajda to a certain person, or there are certain like dragons and certain funny things, where there are certain gods and deities, and a person is actually worshipping these, and a person's mind becomes so involved in them, he forgets about everything. Many of these games now, they make you like, you become addicted to it. All the time you have to carry on going on it. Every day you must go on it. You get certain points. If you don't go on it one day, a person is deprived. So this also won't be permissible for a person. If there is benefits of deen and dunya also, but because of this here, there is certain ghaflat, unmindfulness in certain actions, then this won't be permissible. For example, you're going to be missing your salat, your namaz will become qada, etc. So then also this will not be permissible. And if there is benefit of deen or dunya, and you are not going against the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then it will be permissible for a person. So a person has to look at these certain principles, keep them in mind. Definitely to keep a person's body, there's a famous saying in English also, that a sound mind is in a sound body. If a person got a sound body, then he'll have a sound mind in there. So sometimes should be given also. Our children, normally they say after Asr Salat, even to study books, like Kabir used to say that a person mustn't do it, it's not very good for the eyes. And that time is the time for a person must give his body some exercise, a person must move around a bit. This is one weakness also in today's time. There are two extremes. One extreme is a person is so involved in sports and in play, he becomes unmindful of his other responsibilities and duties. On the other hand, a person doesn't worry at all. He's just sitting all the time. This is also very unhealthy for the body of a person. Islam has kept a balanced life also. So may Allah give us a true understanding that we follow the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and mustn't be on the one extreme. The person goes in, actually the ideal sports, whereas to play soccer, cricket and all of these things is permissible in itself, if any of the laws are not broken of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the ideal is actually the sunnat sports, which Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam actually encouraged us. Example like swimming, archery, horse riding, wrestling, all of these things, because this is very good for the body. It prepares a person for jihad also. Many of the other sports, two harms in them. One is that many of them, sometimes they cause injuries later on in life. Like the ideal is for a person to do exercise. A person runs, a person does push-ups and all of these things. Many of the jamming things which a person does also, according to some experts, is not very healthy for the body. For a short while, it gives benefit to a person, but a person is building up only muscle all the time. And some people nowadays even take certain drinks and then to build up their muscles just to show they got a big body. But the minute they leave it, eventually it turns out to fat. That's also is a bit unhealthy. But anyhow, there's a lot of detail regarding these things. So fi nafsi is something that's permissible. The other one harm of soccer, cricket, and all of these games is that eventually it leads a person to the worship and the love of those people who are experts in that field. So we find, unfortunately, many youngsters, then when a person plays these games, if you're just playing it after us, people are sitting here, not wasting our time with international sports. This creates also nationalism. It creates hatred amongst people, and it takes a person's mind away from his important and important things in our deen. So that's also is a permissible international sport, and watching it and wasting time with it. The person is just playing, but the one thing it must lead a person to is that love for those people. For example, you're playing cricket. Now the people who are experts in that field, eventually a person starts getting love for those people, and now he wants to imitate those people. So this also obviously would not be correct. But if a person is playing how the youngsters play, and whether fulfilling the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for some exercise, then this will be permissible. So may Allah ta'ala grant us tawfiq and ability that we follow the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and inshallah every action of ours, even if a person is taking a bit of rest, a bit of comfort, then inshallah a person will be rewarded in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that. How beautiful our deen is. Just correct our intention, follow the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will get rewarded for it. And on the other hand, the same action you're doing, just a bit of weakness, laxity in it, and the whole time is wasted for a person. On the day of Qiyamah, he'll be held responsible for it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us true understanding. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi.